I know you guys can't see me. I was on my way to sleep, but I had a thought. I just watched the video and someone said, all white people are not racist, so we need to give them a break and stop acting like all white people are racist. This is 2019. Anybody has been living, okay, at all within any point in time after 1920 knows that everyone of any given group, any given ethnic group is not racist. Okay, so if at any point in time during our conversations we have to reduce our conversation to a kindergarten toddler level of speaking, it shouldn't even be had. Okay, because then we're talking to the wrong people. Okay, you can teach your children the truth, and life will teach them the balance, right? Because every day that we go out in life, we go to different stores, different schools, and we deal with people from different ethnic backgrounds, even around the world. You know, even majority of populations are one specific group. 9 times out of 10, they have tourists. You will come in contact with people from another ethnic group in some way, and those people will either help you or you will speak highly of them, smile at them when you see them, or others you will look down upon and degrade them. And your children will pick that up. Okay, so it's 2019. We're not having that childish conversation that all white people are not racist, because we already know that. But what we have been doing, okay, is we have been directing our attention to specific areas in life. And a lot of times, this is why I think that conversation is unnecessary, especially when you're talking about black populations globally. Majority of us deal with people who look like us, who hate themselves, who hate people who look like them. So our largest pushback is from people who look like us. But we will be negligent if we did not speak on the fact that most people of our ethnic group are lacking 2 to 3 things. Okay? One, either you were moved around and you were located in an area that was not your natural given state, and what your ancestors had to do was learn to survive within their environment. Okay? Within that, you were stripped of probably more than one thing. You had to learn a different language. You had to learn a different way of life. And you had to take that way of life and make it your own, which then you created and said, this is now my culture. That's why you can go to different areas of the world and people say, this is my culture. Of course it is. But is that your culture? No, it was birthed out of colonization, oppression, or slavery. Okay, so then we can go to other places and say, you were not moved around. Okay, you weren't moved around. You were still in your land, your native land, where your people came from. But you were given a different tongue. Okay, you were restricted from moving the way you would naturally move. You had to do things in a way that appeased those who were in higher ranking positions other than yourself. And 9 times out of 10, they probably did not look like you. So within that spectrum, they were building in your country, building in your land. They gave you a language to speak. They created a system, an economic, educational system that they developed to support their agenda and their goals. Fast forward hundreds of years later, we took it and said, this is our culture. But what it was mixed in with those who were standing over you, which colonized you or whatever. So within that, 9 times out of 10, they didn't look like you, right? So it's probably very slim to none that the people who were in higher ranking positions were black. Okay? They were more than likely European descent, and they more than likely did not look like the masses of that land. So within that, as you grow up and you live life, just like we do today, we look at television, we see clothes, we see shoes, we see people living a better life. We say, they're living a better life. I want to be like them. Or they are in a better space than I am in because they look like they are not struggling. And because in that time, majority of those people were white-skinned or European descent, most of our people then looked to each other and said, you know what? It's not good over here with you. I don't like this. I don't like this. This is not right. That right there, white must be right because here it is. I'm black with you and I am over here living on a rack looking stupid sitting next to you. So I don't like you. I hate you. I hate being next to you. I hate being this. So I'm going to recreate myself as best I can to mimic that because that creates success, wealth, and health. Fast forward all these hundreds and thousands of years later, here we are. So you can't tell a story. You cannot tell a story. You cannot talk about where we are today without talking about where it started, okay? Because if you look at any ethnic group around the world, we can talk about India because they are a great model. They were colonized. They were oppressed. But you know what they said? Instead of hating each other, they said, we're going to come together. And I'm going to love you even more. And we're going to come out of this. And that's what happened. That hasn't happened yet around the globe when it comes to Africans, blacks, people. Okay? So when you talk about the leaders and the corruption and all of that, please do not leave out the fact that your resources are still being distributed across the nations, other nations other than your own. Please do not leave out that your guns that are being filtered and driven into your society and your countries are given by other people who do not look like you. Please do not leave out, okay, the fact that your children are being educated as best they can. But if you compare your educational system to the rest of the world, let's see where we're ranking. I don't know, but I'm just saying, let's not leave this out of the conversation. So please, when you speak about people losing their mind and being outraged at a picture of blacks being carrying those of white descent, they can lose their mind. But it's foolish to fall apart over something so minute when there are bigger issues at hand, okay? They're losing their mind because so many times we live life and we do not see a visual picture of what is physically happening to us, and physically and systemically. So to see it in front of their face, they're losing their mind. But had they been talked to about it, had they known that it was going on, had they understood that this is what is taking place, they wouldn't be outraged when it is in front of them. They're only outraged and overly emotional because they have no sense of it in other areas of their life. Because many times over, when you have conversations with people, they say this: there is no such thing as racism. Oh, all white people don't think like that. Oh, black people this, but let me tell you something. We know all white people don't think like that. But you would be a fool if you are to continue to have this conversation and leave out the fact and the truth of the matter that white supremacy does exist. And there are millions and billions of people for hundreds and thousands of years have been taught and teached the white supremacy ideology throughout this land called the planet Earth for hundreds and hundreds of years. And if you think that does not affect the mindset of people when they see certain ethnic groups, you are shameful. Does it affect everyone's mind? No, it does not, because we are all different. But does it affect the majority of those mindsets? Of course it does. Because the human brain, that's just the way it works. See, that is strategic. And if you want to deal with that, you can't sweep it under the rug and say it does not happen, it does not exist. No, you have to tackle it where it began. See, it was a strategic and intentional plan for it to be divided the way that it was, for it to be taught the way that it was, for it to be distributed the way that it was. And if you want to reverse that, you have to address it for what it is, and you have to equally and systemically, strategically plan and counter that. See, you can't get over it by just saying, "Oh, it's not what it is." No, it is what it is. Are all like that? No, but are more than 75% like that? Of course. And you are negligent if you leave that out. But you can choose to continue to live your life like that. But I guarantee you it won't work for the following generations, as it has not thus far. Progress, yes. But are you still being stepped on? Of course. Enough is enough. Have a real conversation. Live your life in truth. Cut out all the little petty, childish conversations. If we're going to talk, let's talk. The rest of it, leave it over there. Okay? I don't care what you're trying to get as far as your position and where you're trying to be in life. Okay? But the truth needs to be talked about in truth. We don't have time for all the petty games. We've been doing that for enough years. It hasn't got anyone anywhere. Okay? So, yeah. We'll go ahead and leave that there.